Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's class. This is Breakaway, branding yourself in the Malaysian learning industry. It is class number 3, and I am very honored to have you guys in tonight because a lot of people in this group are actually quite experienced. So I don't know why you should be coming to this. You should be sharing with us your own updates as well. But as promised, the 6 classes will be me sharing with you my best practices, which I have learned from other trainers, training providers, clients, and put into a simple form that you can follow along and apply. So we've got class number 1, which is discover your identity. Remember, I said that discovering your identity is about not creating, but finding out who are you so that you can actually share that with your clients, share that with your training providers. And second class, what we talked about is we talked about building your brand. So this is where you want to have your visual and your verbal branding so that you can share with people what is easily seen and what is easily said. So they want to hear what you say, they want to see what you do. Tonight, we're going to talk about writing your profile. So if you already have a profile that's good, I'm going to show you what the industry likes. I'm going to show you what the industry likes to read and why. So very simply, there are basically 3 types of profiles that the industry requests. The first one is the identity statement. So the identity statement you've already done, you have that. And the best part is you can actually rewrite this again and again and again. You can actually change it however you want. You can update it depending on industry, depending on where what your clientele is. The second type is what we call a summary. And a summary is about under 100 words. It is usually what they put at the back of a book. So if you write a book, it goes at the back of your book. The third one is what we call a bio. Okay, so it can be biodata, biography, whatever it is. But this is under 300 words. So 300 words is the number I got from clients and training providers. They said after 300 words, it gets dicey. People don't want to read. So it might sound like a very hard number. If you do 333 words, I see no problem. You do 250 words, I don't see a problem as well. It totally depends on you. However, after 300 words, clients find it very difficult to read. It becomes challenging. It becomes boring. Now, here's the thing. When I first interviewed training providers and clients, I asked them for their pain points. And one of the pain points is that trainers send us profiles that are 2 or 3 pages long. I don't know if that's still the case. They send us profiles that are 200 or 300 pages long, telling people about how fantastic they are, how much work they've done, all of their certifications, all of their degrees, all of their what have you. And what is the perception in the market? Well, it seems like we are showing off. It seems like we're telling too much about ourselves. And I go, but isn't that a profile? What am I supposed to do then? So the feedback that I got from the market is interesting, is talk less about yourself. You can, no problem, your profile, talk about yourself, okay. But there has to be a part where you don't talk about yourself. There has to be a part where you talk about what the client will get from you. And I go, okay. So let me figure this out. So I wrote a few profiles and I tested with them. I went back and forth with training providers and clients. And then they said, we like this one. We like it like this. And I go, okay. So I'm going to write all my profiles just like this. So tonight, I'm going to show you the structure and I'm going to show you what must be there, what does not need to be there. Okay. So first off, if your profile starts with this sentence, Nazrin has a bachelor's degree in communication from IIUM and has 20 years experience in the learning industry. He was born in 1977 in Kuala Lumpur. If you have that as your first sentence, clients will not read it. They will pass over it. They don't care when you were born. They don't care where you were born. They don't care what degree you have. This seems weird because we write like that, introducing ourselves. Apparently, this is not what clients want to read first. They want to read something else first. Can anybody guess? What do you think they want to read first? Just turn on your microphone and share with me. If you were a client and you want to know something about a trainer, what would you want to know first? Anyone?
Specialization?
Yeah,
Specialization?
expertise.
Thank you. What else?
Yeah, expertise.
The expertise. Thank you.
What experience
Experience
in whatever that we are promoting.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
What you can provide to the client.
Your value,
Sorry?
your values.
Your values. Well, okay, well done. What else?
Maybe any relevant experiences in similar industries.
Okay, relevant experience. First, you want to, that's the first thing you want to hear, right? So you want to know that this person is actually of value to me. So what they're really looking for is this. They are looking to get to know you in as short a time as possible. Therefore, the first thing you should put is actually your identity statement. Okay, so when they ask you to introduce yourself, who are you? Then your identity statement is the one that you put up front. When you introduce yourself face to face, when you write an email, that's the first thing they want to see. When you write your bio or your summary. So basically the longer profiles will start with this. So I've already shown you the slide on during class 1 because somebody asked for it. I can't remember who asked for it. Was it Diana? Can't remember who asked for it. But these are 3 identity statements that I had. Only 2 are still alive. The wordsmith has already been retired. I no longer use this one. But I do use the first one, which is professional learning facilitator in some areas. And I use the third one, culturalist, in some areas as well, because I have 2 different clients. However, I now have, since 2021, I have migrated to a new one, which is Muhammad Nazrul Wahab, is a learning and performance specialist who helps organizations upskill their people quickly and what was the word? Quickly and fulfilling. I can't remember the last one, but it's more holistically. So learning and performance, which used to be called learning and development, learning and performance. This, where do I use this more? I don't use this more in Malaysia. I use this more in Cambodia. That's how I introduce myself there. In Malaysia, I'm slowly starting to use that new one. But most of my clients here, they know me by this first one. All right. So far so good. What questions do you have on the identity statement that you'd like to follow up on?
Nasreen,
Yes.
Nasreen, are you saying that if a TP were to ask us to give a write-up about ourselves, this identity statement should be the first statement, then followed by the summary, followed by the bio. Is that what you mean?
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I ask a question also, Nazri?
You can always
when,
ask.
when you do any statement, right? When I say, it's like say I do financial management, right?
Yes.
So I don't have to say in the ID statement that I do financial management, right? I don't have to say that in this statement. I could be saying helping company develop good financial management system, something like that, right?
Yep. So remember the identity statement must have 3 parts. It must have your role, it must have your methodology, which is what you do. And what you just said is what you do. And it must complete it with why you do it. Why do you do it? What is the value that you hold to or what you bring? Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any more? Okay, so let's move on then. We have a very clear idea that if you want your identity statement to be well accepted, there has to be 3 parts to it. Why? Because human beings, they want to build rapport with you, they want to connect with you. So there's certain things that they want to find out. Out of these 3, which is the most important? If you had to shave off 2, which is the most important?
Why?
Yes. If you don't have time, you say, I help improve professional relationships. That's the fastest identity statement. I've seen quite a few people use it out there at the end of their articles. So they don't actually tell you the role. They don't actually tell you the methodology. They go straight to the point. So I improve people's professional relationship. You look on LinkedIn, you see what people put after their name as a description. So the fastest version is name and why, name and reason. But when you're properly introducing yourself, then the identity statement must have all these three components. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm not saying the identity statement is wow, perfect. No, there are moments where you can actually jump straight to the reason. If you introduce yourself as Nazrin is a passionate communicator, does it connect with you? Yes or no?
Only if I myself is a passionate
Yeah.
communicator.
Nazrin is a passionate communicator who helps people develop empathy. Yes, no? Does it connect?
Maybe.
If I'm seeking the empathy part, yes.
Yes. So what if I say Nazrin is a passionate communicator who helps people develop empathy to improve their professional relationships? What happens now is it funnels you into being the perfect client. So if people say, I want you to teach empathy to my school children. No, sorry, I don't do that. What? I thought you said you develop empathy. Well, that means my identity statement terpotong. My full identity statement is to improve their professional relationships. So the identity statement serves as a filter to attract only the clients that you want and keep away the clients that you don't want. Okay. Questions or give me an end in the chat.
That's right. I don't get it. Sorry, can you repeat? How does the identity statement divides the clients that you want and clients that you don't want?
Okay.
I don't get
Diana, if
Yeah.
you are a client
Yep.
and you read my identity statement,
Yep.
do you want me to do work for you?
Yes.
Why? What's your business?
Let's say if I want to improve the relationships within the company,
What company do you have?
me,
Yes.
tourism.
So what professional relationships do you want me to help you with? What's your company?
Well, my company is actually more on a freelance. It's just me, individual, working
Okay.
with
So
travel agent.
that means that I will not be able to help you.
Um,
You will not become my client. But
I see.
if I say that
huh.
Nazrin is a branding and marketing specialist who helps people develop their virtual branding to allow them to sell more and get clients. Would you now be interested to engage my services?
Yeah, correct.
Because I have a course called
Yes.
BreakAway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you see that? So I have a course called
Yeah, yeah,
BreakAway.
yeah.
So in the first, you were pretending. You're like, okay, let's role play with Nazrin a bit, only to realize, oh no, that's not what he meant. But then if I change my identity statement and I create the statement as I am a branding and marketing specialist. Remember, I don't use the word expert. Branding and marketing specialist who helps trainers, freelance trainers, to improve their industry presence.
Yes.
So there. So filtering means that it keeps away the clients you don't want. It attracts only the clients that you do want. And that's only 30, less than 30 words. Something that you can drop, you post it on Facebook, it will attract those kinds of people. Just 30 words.
Doesn't it cause confusion? Like there will be times where you say you're a passionate communicator, other times you say you're branding and something expert, and you're posting it on social media, and yeah, doesn't it cause people to get confused about what you do?
So far, VLC has sold, BreakAway has sold. So far, no. Work Skills has sold. I have not had anybody come up to me and say they're confused. So far, and this is not just being funny. I'm not being funny, Gina. I'm saying that from what I've seen so far, nobody has said they were confused. But if I start talking about engineering, okay, then people get confused.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's my fear because I don't know. Sometimes I do not know how to. It's like suddenly you're doing this, suddenly you're doing that.
It's not suddenly. Where am I pulling this from? I'm pulling this from my background as a journalist, my work in marketing and public relations, my work with as a wordsmith in writing, copywriting. I did a lot of copywriting for advertising. The work I do in translation, editing, all of that, and the fact that I've marketed myself to the training industry. So it's not suddenly, Nazrin. Okay, if tomorrow I start talking
I
about
was talking about more about if I do that for myself. It's like people don't know me, right? I'm not as famous as you.
well, here's the best part. If they don't know you, it's actually easier to do that.
Okay.
It's only the people who are close to you, like, hey Gina, why are you doing this one? I thought you do other things, kan? I said, itulah, you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer to that, I understand where the question is coming from. However, so far nobody has said that to me. But it is within the purview of things I do. If I suddenly do something totally different, like okay, I teach surgery, then somebody will come down hard on me. Does that make sense? Okay. Remember what we said in class number 1.
Let's say like on your LinkedIn profile and on Facebook, Nazrin. Then there's always that LinkedIn, at the bottom there, I got a little bit of space for you to write about yourself.
That's where you put the identity statement.
You use which one?
I use the learning and performance one now.
Okay.
Because on LinkedIn is more international. I use the learning because LinkedIn right now, how I got Cambodia, how I got to do work in Cambodia, and I got to join a company. I now own 20% of the company in Cambodia, is through LinkedIn. They saw me there first. So now I'm leveraging my LinkedIn to move into Australia, Singapore. And so far it's slow because of the pandemic. But I've been in Cambodia since 2017. So why am I in Cambodia? Because of the things I'm teaching you right now. They said we liked what we saw in your profile. We liked what we read, and it seems to stand out for us. So they invited me over to do a course. In fact, the first course I did was a professional learning facilitator course, the PLF program. Then I did a leadership course. I did a few other things, and then they said, okay, we would like you to become a partner. So I became a partner of the company. But that also means I don't get paid lah. I just collect dividends lah. No, I get paid for the courses I run. But when we do projects, when I lead the team over there, so I get paid only at the end of every financial year. Where does it start? It starts from here. It starts from them being attracted to your identity statement. Yeah.
Nazrin,
Yes.
one question. So based on this identity statement, I think it can be used for individually and also on the company profile as well.
Okay. So what you just talked about is what we call a corporate identity statement. A corporate identity statement I don't teach in this course, but it follows the same structure. Okay. What is Google? Google is a search engine company. Is that true? Can we find something else? Google is an information aggregator service that helps people to quickly find what they need to improve the quality of their, quality of their work, speed and quality of their work. So that's what we call a corporate identity statement. I am not too familiar with that, so I dare not say I teach it, but it follows the same structure. Terjawab ke soalan tu?
Right. Okay.
Okay. Because the corporate identity statement dia nak kena if I remember right, dia nak kena lalu legal dulu. So you don't overpromise or you accidentally do something that's not what you do. So they come up with it. Usually Marcom lah, the marketing communication punya unit will come up with it. It has to go through legal, nak go through apa semua. It gets a bit difficult. I helped with Smart Axiata in Cambodia once. Wah, so leceh. Nak come up with one statement took 1 month, sebulan. Because and you cannot change it all the time. It has to stay there for like 5-6 years. So Gina, that's where people can get confused. If you change your logo all the time, you change your company logo all the time, you change your company identity statement all the time, that's where people get confused. So, but I think you're talking about your company, kan? Small company, kan?
Yeah. No, not me. The question didn't come from me.
No, not. Sorry, I was talking to. Was it Saiful? Saiful that tanya.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think you're talking about your company.
Yeah.
So the idea is yes. Let me find some resources for you.
All right.
Because
Okay,
I tak berani kata I pandai benda ni. Corporate identity statement is a bit more difficult. They pick at the words because they don't want to be sued for over promising something. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the profile itself. So we have the identity statement settled. Now we talk about the summary and the bio. Now in the summary and the bio, to make life easy for you, I'm going to say, imagine that your profile has 4 paragraphs. Okay, 4 basic paragraphs. Each paragraph has a different function. The first paragraph has to connect by building rapport, sharing values and life purpose with the client. This is where some people go, yo, business pun macam ni ke? Yes. Modern business, they look out for vendors who share their values. And this they want to know whether we can work with this person or not. So they to understand their values. There have been moments where, for example, I don't do work for 3 types of companies. Alcohol companies, tobacco companies, and gambling companies. So all my training providers know this. Upfront, I bagi tahu. Whenever there's a request and I say I cannot fulfill, I will find someone else who can fulfill for me. In Cambodia, it's even more difficult because our biggest client is CBL, which produces not only Coca-Cola but also Heineken beer. So whenever we do projects, I step away, and my team knows this. But I help create assets for use that can be used in all projects. So the idea is when the client wants to get to know you, they don't want to know where you're born. They don't want to know what hospital you're born at, what city you're born at. So this is an opportunity for you to get in touch with the client immediately. Okay, get in touch very, very quickly. The second paragraph, this is where you tell where you were born, what degree you have, where you work, how fantastic you are, all of that. So what you normally put in your profile anyway, sits here. Now the third paragraph, this is what clients always complain to me about. They say, I keep getting resumes from Superman. I got this degree, I got this certificate, I fantastic like this, I work on this project, it's all me. Where is the client in there? Where is the client in there? So the client says, at least tell me what output I can get as a result of your fantastic degree, your amazing colored brain certification, tell me. So the third paragraph, you must translate those ideas into outcomes or benefits for the client. What will they get as a result of your amazing abilities? And then last but not least is a call to action. Tell them what to do next. This is amazingly missing from a lot of profiles. They don't put their phone number, they don't put their email address, they don't put their website, expecting that it will be in there somewhere. So you force the client to look for it. This is something the client doesn't like. Dia terpaksa cari mana, dekat dalam footnote ke, dalam header or the footer ke, they have to look for it. Put it right at the end of your profile. Now, everything I've just shared with you, some of it might be weird. Betul? Apa benda Nazrin ajar ni? What's Nazrin teaching us kan? but I'm going to tell you it works. It has worked with all my clients, and I'm going to show you one example. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see.
CI.
Sorry?
What you just said, CI.
Okay.
But okay, I learned it before from you, so
That's not fair.
yeah,
Okay,
not fair, yeah.
what else do you see? What else do you see? Everyone else. What is the first paragraph?
Basically, the identity statement.
Free of charge. You don't have to write anything new.
And then,
It's there. Yeah, it's all there. So nothing new to be written. Now, the second paragraph is something you already have, right?
yeah, your experience and your
Yes.
basically rewards, if any, that's
Okay.
related, is it?
Now, tell me about the third paragraph. What do you notice about the third paragraph? Is it about Nazrin anymore?
No, it's about what you can give.
No, it's what
No.
they can get.
What's in it? What's in it for the
What's in
client?
it for them? What will they get as a result of your amazing experience and certifications and everything? All right. So what's the last one? It tells you what to do. It actually gives them an instruction what to do. And this is what we call connect, inform, convince, and instruct. So that's the summary. What questions do you have on the 100-word summary?
I
Yes,
think
Anita.
out of the companies, you kind of like you drew out Accenture. Is it because that was the largest place, or because people can relate?
Because that, okay, every other company I worked at before that was very, very small and totally unknown. So this is my, what I consider my key, what's the word? Key moments of my career. So for the 100 words, I chose this one.
Right. So is it necessary to have a big name if you have a big name in your resume?
If you have a big name in your resume, that's the one you want to put up front.
Okay. Thanks.
You notice I have nothing else?
No, yeah.
Okay. 7 years at a small magazine that nobody has heard of. And then a couple of years at a public relations firm that nobody has heard of, which was operating out of an apartment, by the way, a house, somebody's house, the owner's house. Yeah. And then 2 years, a couple of years at a knowledge management consulting firm, which also nobody has ever heard of, with a, well, we had more staff, like I think if I were to, 15, maybe 15 staff. Then from there, I went to Accenture with 500,000 staff. So you tell me, which one should I choose? That was the only logical choice I have. And even then, it's like 7 years only. Other people got 20 years, 30 years. So I had to make do with what I had.
Do we actually have to include the number of years?
Yes. The number is important because it provides that impact, but you must explain what you did in those years. So the number is important. Sabrina, does that answer the question?
Okay, so Nazreen, for this, I was working as HR with Petronas Sudan. So I was also responsible for the training and development, but it was mostly from a management perspective.
Yep.
But I did some training work for the company and basically as part of community development programs and so on. Can I include those years that I worked with Petronas as part of my training career, for example, since I was part of the training and development department?
You can.
Because if I rely totally on this one, like training career purely, then this is the start, basically. So there's nothing actually to include.
So yes, you do that. Because if you look, I have another one for culturalists. I have another one for wordsmith. And because I did a lot of this work at the same time, so they have about the same number of years as well. But I wouldn't put that in here because when I market with this summary, I market to clients who don't care that I have, you know, writing skills or martial arts skills or things like that. So focus within that particular profile that you're sending out to a client, focus. Okay, I'm going to say this, right? When you look for a job, you write your resume differently for every client and job position. Correct, everyone?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Never
Yes.
send, that was what I learned early in my career. Never send the same resume to all the you know, the places that you are submitting to. You'll never be able to get a job like that. So you have to rewrite your resume for every different job, match it to the client, match it to the employer's core values, what they do.
Job description.
Yes. So it's the same principle here. In this case, I have three summaries, which now I only have 2 left. 2 are actively being used. Yes? Okay. Thank you for the question. Any other question on the summary before we move on to the last one?
What if we don't really have that many years experience in learning and development? Like we're new at it.
I don't have that many years, so put what you have.
20 years experience in learning.
Yeah, put what you have. Just put what you have.
I also think that you can put actually your experience. If you ask me, you can put your core area. Like if you're HR, even though it's not learning and development, but you're going into it, your area of expertise is that, and that's what you're going to teach, right? So that's what you're going to impart at the end of the day.
Well, HR
is like a
where you come from. So it is related to L&D. Why not?
Correct. No, I mean, if say someone is in finance, for instance, actually in learning and development, but you're branching out into teaching or
about,
you know, like what Sabrina, learning and development, but your core is finance. So it's fine if you want to say you got 20 years in finance, because that shows that you are expert in that matter. You know, you're expert matter.
Okay.
I think you can put lah. And
I think maybe because also like now my specialty in training is going to be more of things that support organization culture.
Yep.
So I think maybe this means that I can actually connect to the HR experience that I have with the organization culture training programs, is it? Because basically HR is in the core of organization culture.
Yes. I don't see a problem there. Like I said, if it suddenly talks about finance or surgery or engineering, then we have a problem. Then you don't want to put that in. You want to put only things that are relevant. But HR is still definitely relevant.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Yes.
So let's say I'm just recently started doing training in 2020. A very bad timing, 2020. Okay, so my specialization is in ISO system. So I can relate to my experience as an auditor for more than 15 years.
Yes.
On the training part, maybe I just able to do only not more than 10 trainings.
I don't see a problem. People want to know your subject matter expertise. Then they want to know whether you can train or not. But you have to start somewhere.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So,
President, I have a question also.
Yes, Silagan.
You see, if let's say you have done training for other MNCs, is this the place you do add that here or somewhere else? Let's say you have done work for, I don't know, IBM, let's say. Where do you put that? Here or somewhere else?
You put it into the bio. The 300 word bio.
Okay, thank you.
So here you put the most important one because you only have 100 words. Yeah, but when you come to the bio, then that's where you put it. Okay, Gina is going to help me out here because she actually learned this.
Oh, really?
Okay. So remember, Gina learned about connect, inform, convince, and instruct. So in the inform, yes, it's pretty much what you normally put in your profile anyway. Okay. But in terms of what you put first, it was recommended to me that we start with our education and or our certifications. Okay. So your education or certifications, because people like to see that first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number two is tell the reader your unique successes throughout your career. So here's the thing, right? When you think about all of the things that you did, don't focus only on what you yourself did. I wrote reports. I wrote weekly reports. But focus on the output of you writing reports. What is the impact that you have contributed to in the final output? I worked on a project where we did this and this and this and this. I contributed to this particular area. But the idea is they want to know what you contributed to. If you just say I wrote reports, habislah, you only wrote reports lah. So tell them what were you part of? What effort were you part of? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Yeah. So you tell them how you contribute to the final output. And then last one is, yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, what would you, right. You're saying something?
No, were you talking to me that you want me to do this or what?
Oh no, I'm talking to everyone. But because,
okay.
Because you understand how this works, so maybe you can add in something as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I think I need coffee.
No, I think I need coffee as well. Okay. Questions? Anyone? And last but not least, what Sabrina was asking about, use real numbers to get the point across. So I keep track of how many hours I have been training, and that helps me to get the client's confidence. I keep a lot of numbers standing by, even though I don't seem like, and Sabrina might be surprised, I'm green brain, but I was taught a long time ago to document every single thing I do. Okay, so I'm going to show you a document. It's going to be embarrassing for me, but I want to show you because I want you to have such a document. But before that, what question do you have? Please ask me now.
I think my problem with this part is unique because I don't train in my subject area, in my subject matter where I specialize in.
Okay.
Because the subject area in which I specialize in has no market for training, only for consultancy. Yeah, so that's why I have. I mean, after a few years, I think I'm better at this stuff. But you know, when 2 years ago, I was really struggling with this because there's really nothing much to show in L&D as far as my own record shows. You know,
I agree. I agree. So here's the thing, Gina, I was where you are. I started out with nothing as well. In fact, all I had to show was Accenture. Like, what is that? I only had that to show. So my recommendation is that slow and steady wins the race. Start collecting from now. Testing.
So,
Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Was I disconnected or something?
There is a bit of a delay. Normally we hear your voice when your mouth is still not open.
Okay. So that being the case, let me just switch to a new.
Yeah, it's not matching. It's
okay. How is it now? Is it better now?
No, you are delayed.
I am still delayed.
Yeah, visual is delayed. Yeah.
Your visual is delayed.
So don't look at me. Don't look at me. And seriously. Yes, don't look at me. Don't look at me. So I'm going to show you first. This is a document called Full Record, and it's ugly. It's just for me to use. So don't say anything about it. I want you to have a document like this. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down and show you a few things. Let me see if I can change view to navigation pane. Okay. So I have here a list of all the courses I've ever taught. This was at a company called Tactics Asia, the knowledge management company I'm talking about. So I actually, before I left the organization, I went back and I documented every single thing. Dates, title of workshop. This is MWOP, mapping, what in the world? Mapping, writing for something procedures. This was procedure writing. I can't remember. MBCO was mapping for business communications. MTRP somewhere is mapping for technical report writing, blah, blah, blah. So I have that. And what I did was, at the end of that particular appendix, I actually documented how many hours that was. And when I turned it into 8 hours, I divided up that number. I got 160 training days. Okay, so far so good?
Yep.
Then in Appendix B, we have the Accenture learning stuff for 7 years. So this is everything I did for 7 years. And I made sure, if you look at tactics again, I made sure to highlight which was done overseas. Okay, Singapore is considered overseas, okay? Over 1C.
Yes. One team.
One and I also made sure to, so everywhere whenever it was an overseas something, I would highlight that so it was easy for me to find when I scroll through it. Okay, so that was the USA, that was Australia, and you can see the rest of the time duduk Malaysia saja lah. I was mostly in Malaysia. And then once in a while I got the Bangalore, Manila. Once in a while they let me go out, Manila. So all of that, blah, 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 blah. You look at that. At the end of every year, I would do this. Yeah, at the end of every year, I do this. Until I stopped working at Accenture. So this was my total delivery hours.
You're talking about 8 hours a day or 7 hours a day?
If you do 8 hours a day. Because we start at 8. We don't start at 9. American style training start at 8 o'clock, finish at 5. Then they get a full 8 hours training because they want to claim with PMI, Project Management Institute. They need to get a minimum 40 hours. The course is usually 5 days long.
This is your training hours that you conduct.
Yes.
And already that many. And then what about for Accenture, I'm sure they have to certify you and things before you're allowed to go and run, right?
Sorry?
Sure, they will certify you first, right? You
certify in what?
Right, in whatever programs, because I noticed that Accenture's program is very, it's unique to them.
Yes.
And so, whenever there's programs that's unique to a company, they will get you certified so that you speak their lingo.
I didn't. It was not certification. It was swim or die.
Oh, okay.
So I had to shadow learning coaches. My role was I taught certain parts of the course, but most of the time I teach the trainers who taught the course.
Right.
Okay, so a little bit about what I did at Accenture. I was what they call a learning coach, and the course was normally 5 days long. So you look at Technology Architecture School, that's 10 to 16 January. So there's that's more than 5 days. That includes a Saturday as well, I think. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But this was almost 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 7 days. So that's a 7-day course because Saturday and Sunday is when the faculty come in and I teach the faculty how to teach the course.
Right.
Right. So they would teach the course and I would teach with them. If the scores were low, nothing happens to them. My boss from Chicago will email me and ask me, Nazrin, what the hell is happening with the scores? Every end of every day, the participants will give feedback every day. They will fill in the whether they liked it or not, what was it. So every day, end of every day, I have to sit with the faculty. We have to figure out how to make the next day better. So every course was like a project for me. And I worked 7 days a week, as you can see, Saturday to Friday. And on really, really bad months, it was back to 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 back. I accumulated Saturday, Sunday off days, which I could use on my own, sometimes up to 2 weeks worth. So the money was good, but at the end of the day, I decided time to leave. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot, but it was time to leave. So the 7 years, you look at 7 years, Ken, you think of 7 years of your life. If I were to quantify it, it felt like 14 years. Like that. It felt like 14
And
years.
what was your initial intention when you started doing this spreadsheet?
My initial intention, in the beginning, okay, I'm going to tell you, I actually have a lot more hours than this, but I started late.
Yeah.
I started late. So if I scroll up, I'm going to show you something. Professional summary. Okay. So we have here something called summary of achievements. Okay. Remember I told you I did training for Petronas? Did I tell you that? Did I tell you guys that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. This single line, look at that. That single line was 2 years worth of work, which I couldn't quantify.
Right.
That was 2 years worth of work I couldn't quantify from 2004 to 2006. My mom kept telling, nasib baik tak kahwin lagi masa tu. My mom was saying, you treat this house like a hotel. Because I would come back, bathe, and then we go out again. And I'd stay in hotels for about almost 2 years straight. That single line is quantified by 2 years worth of work. And I don't have the dates. I don't have the dates. I don't have the, well, I know it was PPT, Petronas Penapisan Terengganu. It was PPM, Petronas Penapisan Melaka. It was MLNG, Malaysian Liquefied Natural Gas. I think that's what it's called. It was PFK, Petronas Fertilizer Kedah. I know where they were, but I don't have the dates. So rather than regret, I started fresh lah. Because my mentor actually told me, Nazrin, document everything. And I go like, yeah. So that's the worst thing you can do. Again, you don't listen to your mentors. But while I was at Tactics, I started that. No, salah. Before I left Tactics, about a month before, I decided to follow his advice, and I went to Jenny. Jenny is the one who keeps all of these records. I asked her for the file. So for about a couple of weeks, I just sat there just copying it into here. So you'll notice there's something missing though. And I recommend if you do this well, because I cannot do it. Have one more column for how many participants and level of participants. Because clients ask me for it and I cannot give them the answer. So this was a mistake on my part. I should have identified, this was amazing though, UEM here. I did a lot of work for UEM. It was very high level, high ranking people in the organization, teaching them how to write board papers. And yet I did not record that. Okay, so if you're thinking I'm showing off, I'm not. I'm just telling you this was a mistake. I should have started earlier. So when I went to Accenture, I just made sure I kept everything. And with Accenture, it was easy because why? Everything's documented in our calendar. It was not on paper. So it was just copy and paste for me. Does that answer the question?
Yep.
Okay.
How many of you are HRDF registered trainers?
Sorry, how are you asking me?
Just, asking how many here are HRDF registered trainers? Anita, who else?
Anita, definitely.
Dina, who else? Yeah. You all know about the trainers? Do you all know about the trainers development framework? No? Okay, yeah. Yeah, HRDF, okay, the reason I'm asking is because we are all required to do this now.
Yes.
So that we can become accredited.
Correct.
Yes.
Got to put in the out, yeah. Now this is correct. So what, Nazri, you've been doing many years already. HRDF now requires to log.
Yeah, maybe, but am I missing a column, Gina? I think they're asking for a more.
Yeah, there are some things. Yeah, there are. The proof of the hours is sometimes, tricky lah. They have two. You need to provide 2 out of the 4 documents required to prove the hours. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have that as well. Or if they ask specific one, I can find, but all I have is just this so far.
Yeah. So but anyway, we can of course discuss this
Okay.
another time, what the TDF requires. Yeah.
So this is when I left Accenture, I was still doing programs. So you can see I still have some that I managed to track down. I have some that I managed to track down, but look at the date, it's 2008. It is not the 2004, 2006 one. So I couldn't track those down. Tak ada. See, it's nothing there. Yeah, got some here. If you hear TL offshore, but that's it. Here I managed to track down because it was 2008 and above. Boleh buat. But aside from that, no. Okay, sad lah, very sad. So this is my company's, this NSYNC punya. I'm just going to scroll down. At the end of every year, I keep that habit. I total up, and then, okay, this is getting boring. Let me just go to the end, 2020. As you can see, I have not updated this for quite a while. 2020 goes all the way until May only. Because it gets boring now. It gets boring doing this after a while. So I'm currently at this number is not even updated yet. So I need to update all the way to 2021. The longer I wait, the worse it gets. But there's a lot in 2020 I did because it was virtual. So if you run like free webinars and stuff, you actually can include that in this. But I don't know if HRDF accepts that.
They will. They don't care whether you charge or not. It's
Okay.
just,
Yeah, they want to see that you
They want to see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
something. Yeah.
So
they will only count the minimum 4 hours, you know.
All right.
If you run 2 hours, they won't count. They won't take it. Yeah.
So does this help you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my slide now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we've covered the inform. What do we do in convince? Is the total opposite. From a copywriting, from an advertising point of view, inform is telling the client or the customer what they will get. Convince is translating that into one more time. Inform is telling the customer what you will give, but convince is telling the customer what they will get. So I like to give this example because it's the easiest. On the federal highway, a few years ago, I saw this advert of a tire advert. I'm happy to report that now the tire adverts don't have a woman in a bikini holding on to the tire anymore. Once upon a time, it was considered normal, kan? Jual kereta, got one girl on the car. Jual tire, ada perempuan pegang holding the tire. So I'm happy to report that the last time I saw this at Federal Highway on the billboard, she was not there. There was only a tire. And it said, and I'm trying to remember what it said exactly, but it said something like this: our tires are rated for 5-star safety in Europe. That's inform. Can anybody tell me what the convince would sound like? Think about it. The inform is our tires are rated for 5-star safety in Europe. What should the convince sound like?
Our tires will keep your family safe.
Cool. Therefore, our tires will keep your family safe. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fair. You don't and ditto.
Yeah, I agree with her.
What is yours? What is your version?
Rid of accidents that perhaps we can reduce.
Okay, so our tires are rated for 5-star safety in Europe. Therefore, there will be less accidents. You will have less accidents. Anyone else want to try? 5.
Have your safety in our heart or mind or in that.
Okay, so have peace of mind, huh?
Yeah, like
So
something.
have peace of mind. Your safety is safe. I don't know. Anyone else? One last one. Okay, I want you to imagine the billboard with that tire there. It says, our tires are rated for 5-star safety in Europe. Drive home safely to your family tonight. This is what we give you. This is what you get. So the one thing that's missing from a lot of trainers' profiles is good for you, because you will now have something that they don't have. When I send my profiles to clients, okay, they often say there's something different about your profile. Can you please explain why? And I pointed to the convince paragraph, and they said, no wonder. When I read this, I felt there was something different. All other profiles was telling us how fantastic the trainer is. Yours actually tells us what we get. I didn't notice that. So the first person to say that to me was through an email. He says, can you please explain to me why I actually enjoyed reading your email? Okay, so even in the email, I use CICI. And I attached the profile. He read the profile, and he actually emailed me to say, can you please tell me why I enjoy reading the email so much? So the idea is because where does CICI come from? It comes from copywriting. It comes from marketing. It comes from, I'm sure you've heard of this before, AIDA, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. There's another one that copywriters use, which I learned for a while and I decided not to use anymore. It's stop, show, seduce, satisfy, and sell. So I liked AIDA, but it was not very useful as I expected. I liked the 5S, but it seemed a bit steamy for me because they were very specific. The way it was taught, you must aim for a particular emotion that you want to exploit in the reader and the audience. So you know that they're sad, tell them your product can make them less sad. You know that they have dandruff, tell them that they will die of shame. They don't fix it now. That's advertising, right? Advertising is basically 3 steps. Step 1, you are balanced. Step 2, I push you off balance. Step 3, introduce a product that can regain your balance. But I push you off balance. I, the copywriter, I, the advertiser, told you that, come on lah. Please, somebody explain to me, has anybody died of dandruff before? Has anybody died of dandruff before? No. And yet how? Why is it that we buy shampoo to get rid of dandruff? It's also cultural based. If you go to United States, the advertising there of shampoo is a woman walks down the street and she notices she has dandruff. She notices she has dandruff. What's the advertising in Malaysia? 2 women are walking down the street. A friend notices she has dandruff. Why? What's the difference between the United States and Malaysia? It's always a friend that goes, "Ee, you have dandruff." Why is it not the woman herself who goes, "Oh, I have dandruff"? No. Sabrine, you've been here long.
Actualization.
Yeah. Advertisers know you very well. They know that over here, shame and social expectations are very, very strong. In the States, they're more individualistic, they're stronger individually. So the advert is saying you want to have dandruff-free hair. And where did they find this realization? Actually, Maybelline was the first one to discover it, and then it spread like wildfire through the advertising industry. Maybelline says maybe it's her, maybe it's Maybelline. They were the first ones to target the woman as making her own decisions about how good she looked. That was the beginning of the end lah. Advertising discovered, okay, we can culturally we identify what triggers to shoot, what things we want to take advantage of. So convince is about that, but not as dirty. So connect, inform, convince, instruct is a more neutral version. You can use it for advertising, but it won't be as powerful as AIDA or the 5S. But when you use it in a professional sense, it gets a lot of good results. So what do we do in convince? Every skill that you have, you say, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Translate that into a benefit. What will the client get? Every task you have done, okay, turn it into a final outcome or an output. So this is similar in the inform. But here, tell them what they will get. When we train your people, they will be able to do this. Just like a learning objective, right, Anita?
Yep, correct.
Just like learning objectives. So why are learning objectives in training important? Because it tells the reader, it tells the audience what they will get, not what the trainer will give them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Key learning outcome.
Program objectives are different. Program objective is what the trainer will do. But learning objective is what they will learn. Okay. Turn every credential you have into a capability to be leveraged. That means what I have colored brain trainer certification. I have emotional drive trainer certification. What does the client get out of that? They will be able to identify their individual colored brains and understand how to work well within their teams, synergize what they can do well, and support each other's from the standpoint of their weaknesses. Okay, what can my emotional drive certification get me? Well, participants or clients will be able to motivate themselves and each other within their teams. What's the difference between me telling them what certification I have and this? It feels more real for them. They will actually be able to imagine, oh, okay, if I go for his course, this is what I'll get. And last but not least, tell them lah. Tell them what they'll get. Okay, clear to everyone?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. When we tell them what they will get, a lot of this seems to be connecting on a emotional level. So looking at the client, should we be skewed towards that?
Yes. So here is where you actually start putting their core values. So you do research on their website, right? Find out what core values they have. Use those exact words. So again, if you want the client, you want to make sure other trainers don't get the client, then you customize your profile before you send out. So what I recommend, and it's not part of BreakAway, this is something that was taught to me a while ago, but I actually forgot. So thank you for triggering that. Find things on their website that you can match in the convince paragraph. They like to use the word transformation, strategize. UEM has a couple of things that they're doing, like what is it called? Spectre. I don't remember, but they have something that I included in my convince profile, and they loved it. They say, hey, you also do this, huh? They didn't know I actually went to the website. But there's one more, Prasarana. Prasarana loves acronyms. And for those of you who know me, my courses are all acronyms. So when they saw that, they were like, wow, you also do this. So we connected quite well, just based on the fact that the company and I love acronyms in our courses. Okay, questions? All good?
All good.
Let me show you. Oh, sorry, yes?
Yeah, so my question is actually in the inform part. There is, in the inform.
Do you want to go back?
It's okay. I know that I know my question.
Okay.
Okay. So you mentioned that you should mention the famous clients you worked with before.
Yes, if you have them.
Okay. So what if you don't?
Then you
like
cannot.
You're starting new, so you just
Therefore,
don't mention it until you gather enough information, enough data.
So mention the companies you work for.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Mention the companies you work for. And you update as you go along. As you get more clients, then you start updating, keep updating until you keep all the famous one.
What if I did train, but on a voluntary basis? So it wasn't really business. So I just did it for every company that I worked with, for example. Can I include their name as a client?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, because you provided the service. Even though you were working for another company at the time, right? It was you who provided the service.
Okay.
It's part of your experience.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Say hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Okay. So now I'm going to show you the bio, the 300-word bio. I'm going to ask you to read it and then tell me Where is the connect? Where is the inform? Where is the convince? And where is the instruct?
Connect is paragraph number 1.
Okay. What's different in paragraph 1?
You started quite early, basically, with a degree. So it's more
paragraph
detailed.
1. Paragraph 1. What's different about paragraph 1 now?
You enhance
Second sentence. It's the second sentence.
Yes. There's a second sentence which expands a little bit on the identity statement. Because now I tell them exactly what I'm doing. So technically, it's not an identity statement anymore because it has more parts. But this is something optional. It gives them a bit more context. Cool. So, as you can see, the profile is still about you. Yep. You don't have to add on too many things for the client. So what you do, you can still maintain one paragraph for the convince. I'm not asking you to add on 3-4 paragraphs. The profile is still about you, so you have information about you. But at minimum, have one paragraph for the client. Okay, questions, please ask me now.
Nazreen, I was just thinking, if we are sending a bio like that, with so many words, would it make it easier for the client to have it in bullet points?
Not necessarily, because I tried bullet points and then they said it's difficult to read because it doesn't provide context.
Right.
I sent bullet points and then they came back. But again, you're right. Some clients would prefer bullet points, but overwhelming majority, they want the profile written like this, which is why they call it a write-up.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay, never mind. Sabine, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask now, can we just do the summary, for example, or should they all be together, like identity statement, summary, and the bio?
Okay, so when you send, well, okay, when they ask for an identity statement, usually the words they say is, can you tell us a little bit about you? Okay, and then you ask how much? 100 words? Yes, 100 words. Okay, then you send the summary. The summary must have all 4 parts. It must have the identity statement followed by inform, by convince, and instruct. It must have all 4 parts.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And yeah, and how do we know that they need the bio? 300
Ask them. Ask them.
Basically, they will decide on which one they need.
They won't know these terminologies. They won't know these terms. So you ask them how long.
Okay. Makes sense.
If 500 words can, if 500 words too long, 300 words okay, 300 words okay. So usually it's either between 100 words, 200 words, or 300 words.
Okay.
When you have a 100-word one, it's easy to send out. When you have a 300-word one, it's easy to edit down to 200. Okay. So there are right now, when this is 300 words, when I want it down to 100 words, I will remove the final paragraph in inform. Maybe I'll keep the award. Maybe I'll keep the award, but I think there's a lot that I don't need.
If you can train in more than one language, should that be highlighted?
Yes, please. Yes, please. If you can train in more than one language, yes, please. Any sort of edge or advantage that you have, put there. Put there. I wish I could do that. I wish I could train in more than 2 languages.
Yeah, at least we can do.
In Malaysia, of course, it's a given that you can train BM. It's a given.
Oh, there are some who can't.
Really?
Yes, there are trainers who cannot do BM. I mean, when you say BM, it's in totality, yeah? You do for a client who wants you to do it in Malay.
Okay.
it's a challenge even for us. I mean, in Malaysia, I've seen that as well. So they always sometimes they give it away to someone else who can.
But give me.
Yeah, next time I will tell them.
Okay. So again, like I said, this is embarrassing for me, but I needed to show you an example. So we have the identity statement, we have the summary, we have the bio. You have this on hand, okay? You keep it in a Google Drive or you keep it in your phone. When a training provider asks you for it, give it to them immediately. Give it to them immediately. The shorter time that you can spend replying to the request, the more likely it is for them to take you. So I'm going to ask Dr. Anwar to back me up on this. When a training provider or a client requests a profile or an outline from you, and you say when, you ask when, and they say hari ni, I'm telling you that the chance of you getting that job is very high. Why? Because somebody messed up. Yep. Somebody in the company messed up, last minute apa semua tak boleh cari, and then they reach out to some training provider, boleh cari tak? So if you respond fast, there's a high percentage of you getting that job. Dr. Anwar, help me out here.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with you fully with Nazrin. That's one reason. The other reason is everybody's working for somebody. You know, when the CEO is a report to his board. Yep. So CEO wants to tell the board, yeah, he's done already. Yep. I got what you want, right? So if the board asks me at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I want to tell my board of director, chairman, say, hey, the board, you know, we're all working like that. So the quicker you give things, it makes their life easier, actually.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the next few classes, about how do we make our stakeholders' lives easy. They will give the jobs to us. I think I guess it a little bit like this. When they ask you if you can come for meetings, you always say yes. You know why? Because all of them complain that trainers don't have time for meetings. When they ask you for a date, you say, here's my calendar, choose the date. Yang mana tengah kosong, you choose. Right? So we'll talk about it in the next few classes, but the idea is this. You make life easy for them, it's easier for them to choose you. Okay? So I'm going to say right now, I'm in the wilderness for about 6 years. I left Accenture 2015. I'm out here for only 6 years. But I've progressed a lot faster than other trainers, primarily because I listened to what the training providers said. We don't like it when trainers do this, and this. So I say, okay, I'm not going to do that then. One example is I asked trainers, and after the course ends, do you provide like after sales service? And they say, no lah, they don't pay us enough for that. We're not going to do that. And I say, okay. So because I struggled, I had to eat, I had to feed my family. I say, okay, for all my clients, I will give them 30 days free online coaching. But what is coaching? They may syarat apa? The participants must reach out to me first. So thank God, Malaysia is still very money-minded. So when a client gets outline and profile, they get maybe communication outline, communication workshop. They get another communication workshop. Nazrin here. Okay, and then another trainer who maybe has a lot more experience than me. When they compare, they think, oh, the outline is similar, the program is similar, the price also similar. They don't even look at the experience though. Hey, this guy giving 30 days free online coaching. What do you think happens?
They give you the course.
They go for the guy who gives 30-day online coaching, free online coaching. And that's how I've survived. I'm not smart. I'm not better educated or better certified than other people. When I left Accenture, I don't even have ICF. People were asking me for International Coaching Federation certification. I said I was a coach in Accenture, but I was never certified. Because here's the best part. Accenture doesn't require you to be ICF certified. They train you to be a coach inside there. But once you leave, you have no certification. The only thing I had going for me was a social style certification. The problem is nobody in Malaysia knows what it is. They know DISC, they maybe know colored brain, but they didn't know what social style was. So I had to be creative in how I marketed myself. Now, you have extra stuff, you have other certificates, it's going to make it easier for you. It was a struggle for me for the first 2 years. 2016, 2017, I'm telling you. And I tell people who want to become freelance trainers, you will not eat for 3 months. Just prepare for that. You will not eat in January, you'll not eat in Ramadan, you'll not eat in Shawwal. 3 months. Because in Ramadan, nobody does training except for UIA. I love UIA because it's the only client that does training in Ramadan. UIA is the International Islamic University. They don't have to cater for lunch, don't have to cater for break food, right? And the hours are shorter. We start earlier, we finish earlier. I think by 3 or 4, we're done. So that's how I managed to live during Ramadan, because UIA gave me jobs. Anybody wants to become a freelance trainer, I tell them up front, today you are today you are M40, tomorrow you are B40. Maybe a few days you're T20. Sabrine, do you know the terms?
No, I was going to ask now, what is that?
We
I
have
felt lost.
We have income categorizations. T20 are the rich people, the top 20%.
Okay.
And then M40 is the 40% that are middle class, and then B40 is the below, the 40% that are below.
Okay.
So some days you're T20, some days you're B40. Be prepared for that. But I guess that's the same for everybody who's freelance or self-employed. So that's all I have for you guys. What questions do you have for tonight's class? Oh wait, no. That's not. Sorry, that's all I have for this, for the profile, but not for tonight's class. So what questions do you have so far?
I want to go first.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the free coaching you mentioned just now. Where do you put that in? Is it in the outline?
It's in the outline, and next class we'll be talking about the outline. I'll show you how I do that.
Sure. Thank you.
So also the outline also persuades and helps people choose you. Thank you. Anyone else?
I give you, Nazrin. I give 14 days only lah. More kedekut lah.
What is that?
I copied you. I also give now, but I give 14 days only. I'm more kedekut.
Well, the reason I gave 30 days free online coaching was for a couple of reasons. Number one is that I don't want them to contact me. So it puts pressure onto me to do my best during those 2 days. Okay. But at the same time, I do acknowledge that some people, they don't understand as easily. So I give them the opportunity to come back to me. That's the second reason. The third reason is if a client comes back to me and said, hey, you taught them, but they cannot apply. So I say to them, I gave them 30 days to come back to me in case they have any questions on application. They never did.
Yeah.
And just diam. Okay,
So far, only one person did come back. Yeah, out of all the participants. Yeah, so far only one.
My return rate is about 10%. So every 30 people I train, almost immediately the next day you get one, and usually it's a sob story lah. When I teach communication, I cannot talk to my wife lah, something, or I cannot talk to my husband lah. So usually the very first one, the immediate one is a sob story, and then a couple of days later I get one more, but this one is more work related, and then a couple of days later I get the first one balik. So that's about 10%. Now I just finished one in Brunei. Yesterday I did 3 days Brunei for Institute Perkhidmatan Awam, their version of Intan. So I gave out my number. I give for online coaching. So far only one has come back. I'm expecting one next week.
Do any training providers say no, you cannot do that because they don't want you to? They don't want customers to contact you directly? Because I've got one training provider. Yeah.
So far none. Oh wait. Ada satu saja, and I said okay. Ada satu saja, but everyone else sees the what's the word? The benefit of it. All other training providers see the benefit of it. And also one thing, I no longer work with random training providers. I have my favorite 15, which I will give to you guys, So by the end of this course, what's the end of this course is you will send them, my favorite 15 training providers, your profile and your favorite outline.
All 15.
Okay, so if I can motivate you a little bit, out of those 15 includes my company in Cambodia. And so far, there have been 3 people from BreakAway who are doing work with my company in Cambodia right now. One of them, Major Prabha, is we're setting up a learning and performance academy there to be able to train. We're setting up that academy there with 3 faculty, him, myself, and another local trainer to train the HR and L&D people in Cambodia. So we're building it right now, and they are waiting for the first pilot course. We have Shazwan from the very first one, 2017, first BreakAway. He's also doing virtual work with clients over there. I don't know if that can motivate you any more than that, but past BreakAway participants have reached out to my favorite 15 training providers because I trust them. I trust these training providers, and I tend not to work with any more random Tom, Dick, and Harry TPs anymore. Ken? Yes. These training providers, one of them is so nice. He asked me, so this is face-to-face class, Cik Nazrin, so early you come, huh? And I said, yeah, I want to set up. I want to make sure everything is set up because I hold to the principle of a trainer is a magician. So magician must set up everything before the audience comes. They cannot see everything. They must, by the time they come, it must be ready. So he said, have you had breakfast? And I said, no, not yet. I wanted to make sure. What he did, he went out, he bought food, came back, gave me breakfast. So these are the kinds of training providers I love working with. I have personal relationship with all of them. We align on our values. Our values are the same. And as I said, I say things like this to them because you help me feed my family, I'm going to help you feed your family as well. So everything we talked about in previous class, these are actual things I say to them, and they're very happy with that. So I would say I'll give you a list of 4,000 training providers. Boleh, you can reach out to them, but really these 15 are just my favorites lah. The top notch lah. Boleh?
Just to share with the rest as well. I'm still a client to many because I still work. So and for everybody who is out there who is trying to pitch, for me, and I know in our industry as well, speed is really, really crucial today. So if I want something, usually if I reach out, the first 2 who comes back to me fastest, whether they're good or bad, will be the one I speak to. If the 3rd, 4th, and 5th are very, very highly recommended, but they a bit lancy, I don't talk to them. So sometimes it is about speed because it also shows how hungry you are.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is what I noticed in our industry, and we talk to each other a lot. A lot of the HR people in our industry talk to each other a lot. And more we notice that the newer companies are the one who is coming back faster and faster and really, really hungry. So they may not have a very good portfolio. Their portfolio may not be the bio is nothing like what Nazrin is sharing here sometimes. But when they go into classes, they are very well prepared. And it's nice to give these newer fellas opportunities as well. So it helps. It helps to, even though you don't have anything, you've got 2-3 lines or so, the speed, like just now you gave a very good idea, carry your profile in your phone. Never thought of that. I never really thought of that. Now with the speed of WhatsApp, everything can be, we carry our resumes in our phone, but we don't carry our training profile. My resume is in my phone. If somebody asks, they send it immediately.
The next few classes might surprise you. I'm not going to tell you only your profile. Your outlines, all of your outlines must be sendable immediately from your phone via email or WhatsApp. And how I do it is I do it over Google Drive.
Yeah.
I have it all on Google Drive. Okay. Thank you very much. So everyone send an email to Anita.
As we're still looking, we still got money to spend in our HR.
Okay. So I'm not an expert in this, but I do want to share with you some best practices. There is a website called snapper.com/photoanalyzer. I will put this link into the WhatsApp group a little bit later. But it is amazing in that it can analyze your photo and tell you whether it is good enough, especially for LinkedIn. Now, if it's good enough for LinkedIn, it is definitely good enough for your profile. So embarrassingly, this is what my photo came back with, the score.
Oh my God, I can imagine mine.
So there's three parts that they look at. The first one is smile. It says to me, you have a passable smile, but there's a lot of room for improvement. There is a slight gap between your top and bottom teeth, a hint of a laugh. Keep smiling and showing off your teeth, but close that gap to make things perfect. Raise the corners of your mouth more. Kena kutuk tau.
Really?
Okay, you want even worse? The next one, jawline is worse. Okay, we have to be honest. Your jawline shadow just doesn't cut it. We don't see the clear and consistent shadow beneath the chin that we're looking for. Start from scratch with the lighting. Damn it. It's just telling me I'm fat. Okay.
Yeah.
And the
Brutal.
third one is the squinch. I have a perfect squinch. What is a squinch? It is the elusive hint of when you smile and the crinkle at the sides of your eyes. So, Nazrin menang bab the squint saja. The smile and jawline okay and bad. Okay,
Very
so
interesting. Very interesting. Can share now?
here's the problem. Here's the problem, right? The photo I submitted had a Malaysian flag in the background. Okay, I updated that profile photo because I was involved in a couple of international symposiums. So I wanted everyone to know where I was from. But when I tried out with this one, the jawline seemed to be better. The jawline got a better score. So maybe it's the gambar dekat belakang. Okay, one other thing that I menang on is the zoom. Perfect. Just nice, not too far, not too close. Okay, so again, I'm not an expert in photos, but I'm giving you a link that can help you to analyze yours. Okay, questions. Don't ask me a question about photo because not my area, but I wanted to include this just in case. Any questions before we close the night?
And the links
I mean, as long as the photo is pleasant to look at, lah, right?
Yeah, of course, human and robot will say different things, lah kan. But itulah.
I mean, you know, I got very bad crooked teeth, you know, right? I can't help that. If it shows in the photo, it shows in the photo.
Well, I don't think it knows about crookedness. It wants to make sure that you don't have that gap in your teeth between the top and bottom teeth.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you mean like the mouth is too wide open?
It's too open. Dia macam ketawa lah. That's all I can say. I don't know enough about this. But this play with the tool and see what happens with yours lah. So I'll put this into the WhatsApp group tonight. And then last but not least, of course, is your assignment. Okay, so you have to do two things. If you want to change your identity statement based on what I will give you feedback on, because today is Friday. Today is the last day for the deadline. So tomorrow I'll start checking. Okay, if you want to change your identity statement, feel free to do so. But I'm only asking for two things. Word document sahaja. 100 words for your summary, 300 words for your bio, using the connect, inform, convince, instruct sequence. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Two things. But of course, the assignments get progressively more difficult as the course goes along. Okay, questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Harry.
Okay, just now you were talking about this training providers. Your favorite is the 15. How about if there is clients directly approach you? Did you still do that? Do direct training with the clients or only with the training providers only?
I sometimes do direct training with clients, but most of the time I only work with training providers.
I see. Okay. If they come
Ask
to you,
me why.
then you will. Yeah, why?
I am a one-man show. I will have to print the workbooks. I will have to write the report. I will have to transport everything. And I don't want to do that because the reason I left Accenture was to spend more time with these people. And if I do that, I'll have no more time left. So I'm very happy to work with training providers because they handle everything. So
I see.
if a client reaches out to me, boleh, I will consider. I've done that before. Virtual especially is easy because I don't have to transport anything. So the last year and a half, I've had quite a bit of direct clients, which I've accepted. However, the problem, of course, is I don't have a HRDC registered company. I'm not a training provider. So when they want to claim HRDC, then I go to my friend lah. any of my friends who do have that company, and we either split something or I pay him or her a percentage, an admin fee.
So,
I see. Okay. Okay.
Nazreen, is HRDC a required certification for trainers to practice training in Malaysia?
Okay, first question is, what do you know so far? Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it before, but I didn't really dig, to know more.
All right, so I think the current answer is yes.
So
with what they have been doing right now, they have managed to conquer all industries. So the answer is yes. There are two ways to go about it. Number one is to actually attend a course, a 5-day course. That costs about, anybody know now? Is it 2,600?
2788. 2788.
2788. Okay. You don't quote our friend in price now because she was.
No. This is the HRD price 2788.
Because our friend bagi special price hari tu.
Yeah.
So 2788 is a 5-day course to get that certification. That's one way. The other way is to get an exemption by proving that you have how many days worth of training? 22 days.
Yeah. Is it 22?
No. Exemption doesn't work that way. Exemption doesn't work that way. You have to
like that.
Background in education, you earn some certification in education.
Yeah, if I remember, if you have a bachelor's degree in education, you get exemption, right?
Yes.
But right now we're talking about if you don't have that, then you need to prove certain number of hours. But Gina says not like that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Assumption has never been about the hours. There's certain rules. Like, for example, I got exemption because my certification is from the UK, so they give me exemption, so I don't have to go for TTT. Then if you are a lecturer in a university, then you get exemption. And there are a few other rules that I cannot remember. But
okay. Then Gina, there actually
accreditation is about hours.
There actually is exemption based on how many trainings you've done.
Yes, there are.
So the last I checked was, last I know it was 22 days. You need to have 22 days worth of training done, and it cannot be something you've done for the company you work for.
Correct.
Yeah, Nazreen, I got the exemption during this pandemic for the TTT. I got exemption during this pandemic for the TTT HRDF, and they actually base it on the hours that I have done training before.
How many hours?
I can't remember, so I just list down all the hours that I've done, and
okay.
It was just
Sabrina, the easiest way is to pay 2,788 for 5 days.
5 days.
And settle.
Okay, you mentioned about the degree, is it? So my master's is in education from the UK. So does that make any?
You just won the jackpot.
Well done.
You just won the
Okay,
jackpot.
so it is possible. Okay, that makes me happy.
You can go to the website and check. Yeah. Okay. On top of that, now getting the exemption and the TTT certification is the first step. On top of that, we now have to go for accreditation. So by 2023 or something like that, if you're not accredited, then you are not able to do training for HRDF courses as well. So there's another step that they have introduced. Yeah.
I will not pretend to understand because it has been so complicated all the time. Sabrina, there's a link I put into the chat.
Okay.
You can check that out. It's for trainers and exemptions.
Okay.
So the answer to your question is yes. It's better to have.
Okay, this deserves you know, like a bit of a research there. Some of my time, I need to check that out.
But my long-term plan is to run away from Malaysia. I don't want to do training in Malaysia anymore. It's just getting more and more difficult. No, not move overseas. That's not what I meant. I'm just I want to move on to something that you know is not tied to HRDC. In fact, most of the training I've done in the last few years have not been HRDF. What's the word? Claimable anyway. It was with clients, and I got to 3 training providers. These training providers, they have clients at different levels. So like banks, SMEs.
Is it like there's certain courses that cannot be taught unless you have HRDC certification? Is it?
Okay, that's a longer explanation. I think the easiest one is like this. When the client wants to claim for a levy for their courses, so they don't have to pay, they claim from a fund. But in order to claim from that fund, the trainer has to be certified.
Okay, I understand.
If they don't claim, that doesn't matter. They can call anybody. But if they want to claim from the money from the fund, then the trainer has to be certified.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Welcome to Malaysia. And here's the scary part. Now, my partner in Cambodia, he's saying that Cambodia is considering setting up something like HRDF over there.
Oh. Okay. So that's a new thing.
That's a scary thing, because once they do that, they might copy and paste everything from HRDF here. So
then it will be a mess.
Yes. Speak to any experienced trainer in Malaysia, including Dr. Anwar.
Yeah.
It's oh my God, why does this thing even exist? If you let me rant, I'll rant forever. I personally believe HRDF has actually caused the decline in training quality in Malaysia. Because whether it's Gina or Z or Dr. Anwar or anybody, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years experience gets paid the same. But if you go to clients, like say you go to banks, you go to GLCs, then you can charge higher than that. But if you go HRDF, there's only a standard rate. A first-year trainer and a 20-year trainer gets paid the same, which I think is not fair. It's not fair to senior trainers, master trainers. It's not fair. So yes, I hope to become master trainer one day so I can charge more. But right now, I take what I get. Thank you for the question, Sabrine. Okay, anything? It's already 10:13. Any other questions, guys?
No.
Good. Okay, so I'll put the link for the photo analyzer into the chat, into the WhatsApp group. Have fun with that. And please share with me what were your takeaways for tonight. But until then, have a good weekend, guys. See you on Monday night.
You too.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.
Salam. Goodbye. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Good night.